When people ask me what my favorite thing to eat is, they're usually surprised by the answer. As a formally trained chef, they often think that I'm going to say something big and complicated that takes hours to make, but the truth could not be further. My favorite thing to eat, and one of my favorite things to make, is actually a big plate of nachos. Nachos are quick and easy to make, and they can suit a variety of tastes. Today, I'm going to show you the secret to making restaurant quality nachos right in your home. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today we are talking about nachos. Now, just in case you're watching this and you don't know what nachos are, at their simplest, nachos are just corn tortilla chips that are covered in cheese. Now, that's at its simplest. They can be dolled up with anything else. You can put chicken on them, you can put steak on them, beans, the works. Now, some people's version of nachos uses a liquid type cheese, a cheese sauce. If you've ever been to a place like Taco Bell or one of the fast food joints or maybe your ballpark, they'll often serve chips with this cheddar cheese sauce, and they call that nachos. Authentic nachos uses shredded cheese, and in my humble opinion, that is way better. It's often a combination of cheeses like cheddar, Jack, Colby. Now, if your idea of making nachos with that type of cheese is just to take some chips, cover it with the shredded cheese, and put it in the microwave, I've got news for you. You can do way better, and it really is not that difficult. Now, when you order nachos at a restaurant, their secret to getting that cheese nice and bubbly and melted is by using something called a salamander. And all a salamander is a giant broiler, and what that does is that just pumps heat down from the top. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's great for a restaurant, but I don't have a salamander at home. Or do you? You know what? If you have an oven, then yes, you most likely do. That's because most ovens also have a broiler, and that just puts heat down from the top. And you know what? You don't even need a big oven for this. When I make my nachos, I mostly use one of these, just a toaster oven. So here's how to make amazing restaurant quality nachos using something as simple as a toaster oven. We're gonna broil them. Now, as I said, tortilla chips are the foundation for nachos, and I like to buy the best, most authentic chips that I can. Now, here in Southern California, it's easy to find great chips like these that are like legit. You can also make your own. In fact, I did a video on how to make your own tortilla chips using an air fryer, and I'll link to that in the description below. But I really like authentic, thick tortilla chips, something that's really going to stand up to that cheese and all the toppings that we're going to put on it. So get the most authentic you can. If you have a Mexican market or a Latin market near your house, check that out. You're going to find a lot of great things there, or just use your favorite chip. Okay, the first thing we'll do is actually preheat our broiler. So I'm just going to press start on mine and get this thing nice and hot while we assemble the nachos. We'll start by putting a layer of chips down on a plate, and you're gonna want an oven-proof plate. You can use a metal tray or just anything that is oven-proof. I'm using actually a vintage Corning pie plate. This works great for that. You could also use an aluminum pie plate if you have nothing else, and kind of give it that cool, rustic, hip feel. All right, so we'll put our layer of chips down. Just make sure it's nice and covered. Now, before we put the cheese on, we're actually going to add any proteins. This is where you would add chicken, steak. In my case, I'm going to do some beans. I made some pinto beans from scratch the other day, and I'm just going to load these on. Now, here's an important tip. If you are using something like chicken, steak, any type of meat, make sure that it is cooked first. Do not put raw meat on your chips, because that broiler is not going to cook it sufficiently. So use only cooked meats. And here I've also heated my beans first. So I'm just going to kind of cover these and get these into all the nooks and crannies. Now it's time for the cheese. And again, you want to use shredded cheese here. Finely shredded works really well because that's going to melt. Anything soft, again, cheddar, Jack, Colby. I'm just using a mix here, prepackaged. You can also shred your own. So we are just going to rain down the cheese on top of these chips. Again, make sure they get into all the nice little nooks and crannies. And this cheese is going to make an amazing blanket of deliciousness that is just going to be melted and cover over any of the toppings that you put on. Okay, our chips are loaded up. The broiler is hot. I can see the heating elements literally glowing. So we are just going to put this into the toaster oven. Now you're going to want to keep a close watch on this. You want these to be near the heating elements, but not too close. And this is only going to take a few minutes. Basically what we're looking for is for that cheese to become nice and super duper melty. Guys, that's it. That's all you have to do is just load up your chips as you like with as much or as little cheese, put it into your toaster oven and let this do the rest. So we're going to keep a close eye on this, and remember, use one of these when grabbing that plate because this thing is going to be hot. Now while this is cooking and I'm keeping a close eye on it, I should let you know, if you don't have a broiler, you can use the bake function in a toaster oven or a regular oven, but I really like the way the broiler works because you have all that heat just kind of coming down, and that's what's really going to melt that cheese and give it that restaurant quality bubbliness. If you've ever been to a Mexican restaurant and you just get that big plate of nachos and you've wondered, like, how do they get the cheese so melty and that nice browning effect? That is from a broiler. That's what happens when you have that high heat coming down from on top. Okay, it has only been about 5 minutes and I can see the cheese bubbling. This looks absolutely amazing. Check this out. Remember, gloves. Oh my gosh. And look at this. We have amazing restaurant quality nachos here. Do you see how this cheese is just nice and melted, and the chips are nicely even crisper because of that heat? Now, yes, these would be amazing as is, but they'll be even better with some garnish. Earlier, I had chopped up some peppers. I like things spicy, so I've got some serrano peppers here. You could also use jalapenos. You could use bell peppers. I also chopped up some tomatoes. And if you watch this channel, you know that I'm a cilantro guy. So I just put some cilantro on here as well. As for salsa, you could put salsa on here. I even did a video on how to make homemade salsa in a blender, super easy. I'll link to that below. And then finally, we can't have nachos without some guacamole and sour cream. So we're just gonna put these right on top. And here we go. We just made these in a toaster oven in less than 10 minutes. Check out these nachos. Well, what? You didn't think I wasn't going to eat these, right? Look at this, just these globs, strings of cheese. This is just like what you would get in a restaurant. We'll get some of that guacamole and sour cream. Nachos, amazing. I want to be a nacho man. So there you go. That is the secret to making nachos at home, is the broiler. Even a broiler in something as simple as a toaster oven, that is going to yield restaurant quality nachos. So for your next fiesta, for your next dinner, for your next snack, for your next whatever, now you know how to make amazing restaurant quality nachos in just minutes. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to my kitchen. I am so glad that you are here. Until next time, I hope that you want to cook.